All right, week 7 in the books. I had a terrible week in pick'ems. These primetime games have been killing me this year. I've been terrible at picking them. I went 0-4 in primetime games last week. I need a haircut. Nobody knows what's happening in the NFL right now. So let's just jump into these picks that I'll probably be wrong about. I went 8-7 last week. Hopefully I can improve upon that. But first, I gotta get one of these ding dang primetime games right. So let's start off with the Vikings and the Chargers. I don't know what's going on with Minnesota right now. I've heard that maybe JJ McCarthy can come back this game. I personally wouldn't. I'm personally doubt it just because it's a short week. I think it's going to be Carson Wentz for one more week, and then you have the 10-day rest. As for the Chargers, boy, they fell apart quick. First 3 weeks, they were looking like the best team in the NFL. Since then, they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. And the only win that they've gotten in that span was against the lowly Dolphins, who they barely beat. So I really don't know what to make of either of these teams right now. I guess I'll go with the Chargers. I mean, it's being played at home. I don't feel great about it. But the Chargers, I think that I think they can score more points. With all the playmakers they have on that side of the ball, I think they can get something done. Moving on to the Sunday slate of games, we've got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Woof, Dolphins. I expected better out of you. I picked you to win last week, and you made me look stupid. Stupid? What? You made me look stupid. Even dumber than I usually look, and that says something. Moving on, we've got the Falcons. You got creamed last week by just Christian McCaffrey, pretty much. Christian McCaffrey, he tore you guys to pieces. And look, as bad, you never know what to make of the Falcons. One week they look great, the next they look completely terrible. I think they're going to look great this week, with or without Michael Penix. Who knows if he's going to play this week. And the reason I say that is because the Dolphins just look so lifeless. They don't know how long their head coach is going to be the head coach. Tua is throwing interceptions all over the place. It just looks bad for the Dolphins. So I am going to go with the Falcons in this one. And it'll be closer than most anticipate, though, just because it's the Falcons and this is just what they do. Next, we've got the New York Jokes versus the Cincinnati Bungles. The Jokes. Listen, you're bad. You're really, really bad. You're 0-7. Fields got benched for Tyrod Taylor. It's not good. It's not good. You scored 6 points against the Panthers, whose defense has been better this year, in all fairness to them. However, I don't know what to say about the Jets that hasn't been said before. I really don't. As for the Bungles, you pulled off the upset last week on a short week on Thursday Night Football against probably your most hated rival. So good for you on that. I'm going to go with the Bungles here in this one. It's at home. The Jets are a laughing stock right now. It's bad. Who knows how long Aaron Glenn is going to last there. I don't think he'll get fired mid-season. But, who knows. Although it would be so Bungles of them to lose this game, wouldn't it? Moving on, we've got the Cleveland Browns versus the New England Patriots. The Browns whooped the Dolphins last week. And yeah, that game wasn't even really close. Cleveland didn't even really do much on offense. It was mainly Quinshon Judkins doing most of the heavy lifting, scoring 3 touchdowns on the ground that game. As for the Patriots, you took care of business against the team you were supposed to beat. Credit there. And I expect you to take care of business here in this game as well. The Browns, didn't Dillon Gabriel, hasn't looked terrible. He hasn't looked terrible, but he hasn't looked like an absolute superstar either. But that's expected out of a rookie quarterback, you know. I think this is a game where the Patriots should absolutely mutilate the Browns. Will it happen? Probably. I'm going to go with the Patriots here in this one. Moving on, we've got a very intriguing matchup with the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Giants, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Eagles, you bounced back. The offense looked competent once again. Jalen Hurts airing it out to both Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. The offense looked great last week. So credit where it's due there. As for the Giants, of course, we saw the Giants carve up the Eagles just a couple weeks ago. But, man, what was that fourth quarter? You guys had, a 19-point lead? You let up 33 points in the fourth quarter. I can't pick you guys after seeing that. I can't. That inspired zero confidence in me for the rest of the season. What was that? What was that? And I can't even get into it. I'm going with the Eagles here in this one. Give me the Eagles. They're a better team on paper than the Giants, and this is a game they should win. So yeah, I'll take the Eagles here in this one to beat the Giants. I think the Eagles may be able to blow them out this time, but I'm not going to completely write that down. Next, we've got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Carolina Panthers. Buffalo Bills, of course, on the bye week after losing 2 straight and not really looking super great in the process. And as for the Panthers, you're 4-3, you're above 500. You gotta feel pretty good if you're the Panthers right now. Especially since you haven't had a lot of hope in previous years. So, of course Andy Dalton is going to be starting, not ideal. But thankfully, it's not for an extended amount of time. I'm going to go with the Bills here in this one. The Bills are a weird team because they won 4 straight games, and by doing that, they were handing the ball off to James Cook. They were giving the ball to James Cook. But then the last 2 games, they weren't really doing that, and they lost both of them. So you kind of notice a pattern here. If the Bills give the ball to their best player on offense, not named Josh Allen, the Bills will win this game. If not, they're going to struggle, and that's been proven. They struggled against the Falcons. They didn't look great against the Patriots. So I think if the Bills can get the running game going with James Cook, the Bills should win this game pretty handily. So give me the Bills here in this one. Coming off the bye week, they're going to be angry about 2 straight losses, and the Patriots are rolling, so they need this win to keep track. We'll see, though. Next, we've got the Chicago Bears versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Bears looking good after 4 straight wins, man. They're looking pretty good. As for the Ravens, you're 1-5. You're coming off the bye week, so you're now healthier. Lamar Jackson should be back. And that is a huge boost for this team. I went back and forth on this game quite a bit. The Bears, they've looked good on offense. The Ravens, their defense hasn't been great. But I'm going to give the Ravens the benefit of the doubt here. They've gone up against some pretty good teams. The Bills, the Chiefs, the Lions. They lost to all those teams, man. And there's probably a team I'm forgetting somewhere in there. I forget who else they played. But regardless, they've played some pretty tough teams. So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt here. The Ravens, I think, are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be particularly close either. And that pains me to say as a Steelers fan, but I do think the Ravens should win this game. Moving on, we've got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Houston Texans. This game I find very fascinating. The 49ers, of course, are beat up, but they're still winning. Mac Jones has looked really good in place of Brock Purdy. And, as long as Christian McCaffrey is healthy, it seems as though you're going to have a chance to win every football game. As for the Texans, coming off the bye, I expected them to do all right. And I picked them to win. Why I picked them to win? I don't know. I really don't know why I picked this team to win. I guess I just forgot about how poor they looked the first 3 weeks. And I was just going off of recency bias. Big mistake on my part. However, if there's one thing about me that I do know, is that I never learn, so I'm picking the Texans here in this game too. I'm picking the Texans just because I trust their defense more right now. And I know that says a lot considering what they just allowed to Jackson Smith-Njigba, but everyone does that. So there's no shame in that. But I think if the Texans can hold Christian McCaffrey, I think they have a chance to win. That is much easier said than done. Just ask the Falcons. I think the Texans have a good chance to win here. I think that this is the kind of game where if they score 20, 24 points, they're going to win this game. Especially if they can keep Christian McCaffrey at bay. So I am going to go with the Texans here in this game. I'm probably going to regret it, let's be honest. But I don't want to just pick the favorites every time. I want to be interesting, I want to be interesting. So, moving on. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing against the New Orleans Saints. I have to pick the Buccaneers here in this one. I know that they just looked really flat against the Lions on Monday Night Football. But they're a better team than the Saints. They're a better coached team, and they're a better roster. I mean, I have to go with the Buccaneers here in this one. But of course, it is a road divisional game, so who knows? Things could get a little weird, so this game could be closer than maybe most expect. But I am going to go with the Bucs. That's just how I feel, especially if Bucky Irving comes back and they can get the running game going. I think this should be a smooth win, but again, divisional games, you never know. Moving on, we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Denver Broncos. The Cowboys, they looked pretty good last week, man. They shut down the Commanders' offense for the most part. Jaden Daniels, of course, getting hurt in that game. Hopefully he's all right. But even if he were healthy the entire game, they weren't coming back in that game. The Cowboys just had such a stranglehold on the Commanders. And that was a well-coached game. You got to give Schottenheimer some credit. As for the Horsies, first 3 quarters looked bad, but the fourth quarter looked really good, and you ended up escaping with a win. You ended up escaping with that win. Oh, man, I still don't know who to pick. You know what? I'm going with the upset. Give me the Cowboys. And I'm going with the Cowboys just because, you have CeeDee Lamb back now. He played well last game. George Pickens, he's looked great this season. Javonte Williams has looked great this season. Jake Ferguson has been great. And Dak Prescott is playing like an MVP. This is going to be a very intriguing matchup because this is a great offense going up against a great defense. And a not-so-great defense going up against middle-of-the-road offense. So I'm interested to see how this game plays out. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys here in this one. And I'm going with the Cowboys because I think that they're going to be able to score just a few more points than the Broncos. Well, obviously, that's how you win a freaking football game. Genius. I think they're going to be able to score more points. I think the Broncos may have a hard time keeping up, even against the Cowboys defense, just given what I saw last week. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Do I feel good about it? No, I don't. But I genuinely could see this game going either way. Moving on, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Indianapolis Colts. I don't... What do you want me to say about the Titans that hasn't been said already? They're a bad team. Tyler Lockett quit on them already. They're a bad team, man. I don't know what you want me to say. Colts, they're rolling. 6-1, best record in the league. They seem poised to go 7-1. Jonathan Taylor, thank you for helping carry my fantasy team. I appreciate you greatly. But I think the Titans, they don't have enough talent right now. Of course, they fired their coach last week, and they had a little morale boost for like a quarter and a half, maybe. And then the Patriots started to put points on them. And I think that if the Colts can put up points like they did against this team the last time they played, when that was on the road, I think the Titans are going to have a hard time keeping up. I'm going to go with the Colts here in this game, and we'll see what happens. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we've got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Packers keeping it close last week against the Cardinals. Jordan Love, he's done okay. He's more so been a game manager this year. But Josh Jacobs, he's the head of that offense right now. Micah Parsons looked outstanding last week, and I think the Steelers may have a hard time keeping track of him. As for the Steelers, crushing loss last week against the Bengals. Oh, man. Defense did not look great at all. That's pretty much all there is to say about that. If you couldn't tell, I don't really feel like talking about that game. Alright. I went back and forth on this game a lot. And you guys know that if you've been watching me long enough, I tend to keep my bias pretty contained. I tend to not let my bias get in the way of me picking these games or me giving my opinion. However, for this game, I decided to pick the Steelers, and it's not because, I think they're a better team or anything. It's not because I think they're better coached. I just have a feeling about this one, and that absolutely might be bias. I 100% concede that. But I think the Steelers, given what I saw last week from the offensive line has looked pretty good this season, for the most part. Now, I don't know if that's because Aaron Rodgers is getting the ball out so quickly, or if the offensive line has just genuinely been good. But I don't know why. I just have a feeling Aaron Rodgers is going to have a field day against his former team. I don't know. Again, that very well might be bias. I'm not conceding that whatsoever. Just a feeling. I'm going to go with the Steelers here in this one. It's at home. Who knows? I think this is going to be a very close game. Just given the nature of these two teams, it's going to be a close game. Next up, we've got the Commanders and the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Commanders, who knows if you're going to have Jayden Daniels. Even if you do have Jayden Daniels, there just isn't that same spark with this team that there was last year. There's not that same spark. As for Kansas City, you guys are rolling, man. You guys look to be the class of the AFC once again. And boy, is it hard to stop that team right now. They're getting healthier. Mahomes looks like best player in the league again. I mean, the Chiefs just look unstoppable. So, of course, I'm going to have to pick the Chiefs here in this one. Against a struggling Commanders team who just lost to the Cowboys, I'm going with the Chiefs here at home on prime time on Monday Night Football. I think the Chiefs should win this game. But knowing the NFL and knowing my luck on primetime games, I'm probably going to be wrong here. Anyways, I guess that's it. I apologize for the lack of videos recently. It's not that I haven't wanted to do anything, because I do genuinely enjoy doing this. I see it more as a hobby. I've said that before. But I just haven't had much else to really talk about in the sports world. I plan on making a Penguins video, probably around the quarter-ish part. But you know, with the Pirates being done, I'll probably make a World Series prediction short at some point. We'll see. However, I do have a few videos scheduled for next week. I have them planned out. It's just a matter of me actually recording them and whatnot. So, whatever. Anyways, don't die.